My ass when they see this, but no, this, like I said, this is a special episode. We're doing interviews. We're posting video interviews, and y'all know, like, y'all follow me. I'm a huge fan of the Poohniverse. I love me some Blood and Honey, especially Blood and Honey 2. So I'm so excited to have Lewis Santer on the show. He played Tigger in Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. And I'm just so excited. Like I told him before I hit record, I'm trying not to fangirl because I just love that movie so much. It was actually my number one film of last year. Yes.
Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Yes. So, Lewis, how are you doing?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Cold, but I'm good. Today was kind of like a med day, but I'm actually feeling better. I'm happy, and I'm just excited to get this show going.
Excited.
But yes, like I said,
it's cold. I'm boiling. It's really hot. I need to put my radiator down.
Yeah, I'm over here in this recording area. I'm just like, my fingers. I'm about to start breaking out the fingerless gloves.
Like this, yeah.
Yes, like, I feel like that Arthur meme when he's just like fisting, like he has his fist in the hands, like, y'all, not that kind of fisting, y'all nasties. But I wanted to bring you on the show, Lewis, because like I said, I'm a big fan of you. I'm a big fan of whole Poohniverse, and I just think you're awesome. I had some mutuals of mine. They actually had a chance to like interview you. Some of them met you at a convention that you're attending, and I was just like, I'm jealous. I want to interview him. So
I'm happy to be here, man. Really happy to be here.
Yes, I'm excited for you to be here. So what is your origin story? Like, tell us all about you. How did like once upon a time, but how did you get into to acting? I know you also do stunt work too. So how did you get into that?
So it's all just quite an interesting story, to be fair. So I started acting about 11 years old. So I was always a kid that was very much like, I'd watch films all the time and I'd quote them to like my family, my friends. Like, I was very much that kind of person. Like, I'd memorize lines a lot. I would sort of play characters around the house, and my mom and dad were always like, you've got to be an actor. Like, this is something you've got to do. I never really explored it. And then when I was 11, I was in like a school sort of play. It was like a little school production, like a local production. And I was always I had a bit of stage fright. I was quite a shy kid, like on stage. But I thought, you know what, fuck it. I went for a big role in this play, loved it, and then got this sort of like adrenaline rush from being on stage. And it's like a drug. Do you know what I mean? I think most actors say that it's like a drug, or like anything that people are doing in life. And ever since that day, I just thought it's something I want to do. So I've chased it my whole life, sort of did it at school, and then went to like a drama college, went to acting school. And then when I went to acting school, I went for this 1 year course, which is called theatre arts. So you try out like physical theatre, community theatre, lots of different types of like acting and theatre and stuff. And I found something called stage combat, which is like fight performance for stage and for screen. And I was never a singer or a dancer. Like, I'm not that, like, I like dancing, but I'm not like a very good like choreography and stuff like that. And I always thought like, I need another niche, like I need another string to my bow. And I was always just an actor. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to go for acting and stage combat. So I did 3 years of that. And that's like acting for half the course. And the other half is like training in different like weapon systems. So I trained in like different swords and like knives and guns and loads of different weapons, and like you learn how to do stunt falls and lots of different stunts as well, like how to perform safely. And then I graduated from there, got my first job at Shakespeare's Globe, which is like that was a massive deal for me to like work there, because we did a lot of Shakespeare at drama school, and I always thought my career is going to go down that avenue because I did a lot of Shakespeare. And then whilst I was there doing Shakespeare, which is also like a fight performance sort of show, it was like a Shakespeare show but with like a lot of sword play and stuff like that. Whilst I was there, my agent then sent me forward for like this character breakdown for Tigger in Winnie 2. And then that was very different. I was like doing Shakespeare, and then this whole twist career doing Tigger. And I was like, I'm a big horror fan. I always have been since I was really young. So when I saw the Tigger breakdown, I was like, oh my God, like Art the Clown, Pennywise, Freddy Krueger with the inspirations on this breakdown. And I was like, this is perfect for me. Because I was obsessed with like Pennywise and stuff. Went for that character. And then ever since I did Tigger, my life's just on a U-turn in my career. Like, I've done a lot of horror. I've done obviously like conventions, and my career's just taken a big turn, like sort of more towards film and horror stuff, like specifically. So yeah, that's sort of my origin story and how I ended up here right now in your interview. That's how
that is just so awesome. Like that has me like cheesing because I was a theater kid, and like I to this day I'm just like, damn, I should have just stuck it out and just like kept pushing through, like just ignore all the negativity and just push through because you never know where I might have landed. But yeah.
The good thing about acting is never too late to get back into acting. It's one of these things that there's always a million characters out there for stage and film and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Roles waiting to be filled. So get back into it, man. I love it. I love it as well.
I'm thinking about it because I'm like, ooh, I got the itch. Like, ooh, like on my Facebook, I actually follow like a page for like just like acting jobs, like extras. I'm like, one of these days, I'm going to be an extra. Like one of my goals is to at least be in a horror movie. Like I don't care if I get killed off, if I'm just like in the corner of a bar scene. Like I don't care. Like I'm in a movie, but I was
maybe for Poohniverse, they need a lot of people to kill. Like the kill count of Poohniverse is insane. So get in touch, man. You know what I mean? Maybe for Poohniverse or something. That'd be cool.
That would be a dream. Oh my gosh, please. Oh my gosh, that would be a dream. Oh my gosh. But yeah, like growing up being a theater kid, like I like to sing. Like I was like, I'm gonna be on Broadway. Like I love musicals. I love maybe it's a theater kid thing. Like we just go around quoting movies and just put on little performances. Like to this day, like if I'm out in public and like something reminds me of a movie scene, I'm like quoting it and like
that was me.
It's just
like
nonstop.
I was around my house, like especially like I was a big Star Wars fan and stuff, so I'd be like General Grievous walking around my house quoting General Grievous, Darth Vader to my mum and dad, and they would sit on the sofa being like, oh my God, it's so annoying. So we'll come through the house being the characters. And like,
they're probably like, just another day.
Literally, when you're that young, you can't process why you're doing it until you get older. You're like, I always just like to perform and play different characters and stuff. So I feel like normally that's a sign that that you're like, same with you. It's like a sign that maybe you're meant to be on stage. You know what I mean? Or meant to do these things. And it's like a drug. Like I said earlier, like you probably feel the same. I feel like once you get that initial sort of like the buzz of being on stage and the buzz of like, I don't know, an audience laughing or clapping or whatever, and you can feel that energy, I think you're just chasing that for the rest of your life. And that's how I feel, is I'm constantly trying to get on stage again or trying to get, you know, on a set again, because then you get that buzz again from like creating these characters and stuff. So it's cool.
That's so cool. So like with stunt work, what would do you ever feel like that adrenaline rush with the stunt work?
I think stunt work's way more nerve-wracking than acting work. Like with stunt work, with acting, it's like normally the scenes are a bit more chilled out, obviously, and it's just like human connection normally, obviously, unless you're killing someone like Tigger, but normally it's like you can sort of do take two for that, and it's not too much of an issue. But with stunt work, and especially when it's on like a live thing, like I did a job in the summer and it was a surprise thing. It's on YouTube. It's for the Sidemen. I don't know if you've heard of the Sidemen, KSI.
Okay. Yeah.
It was with them, and they had it was a surprise thing. We had to do this big fight scene in front of them, and they were surprising the other guys. Two of them organised it, and the other lot were getting surprised. But it was meant to be a live reaction. So in your head, we had this massive fight scene in front of him. It was really cool. That was really good choreography. But you think, if I fuck this up, like that's it. It's done. Like there's no more. Do you know what I mean? We can't go back and redo this sort of thing. And it's a lot like that with stunt work. I feel like sometimes you get a stunt. Like I did a stunt in the movie once, and we had one shot of doing it because the setup took too long. And they're like, basically, if you mess this one up, then it's going to take ages to reset up the whole rig and all this kind of thing. So I find it really nerve-wracking doing stunt work, but that's the fun of it. That's why I do it, because you get the rush, and then once you do it and you do it well, you come away from it and you're just like, oh, you're on cloud nine from it, you know.
So that's so cool. I've never done any like on stage like stunt, like when I was on stage, I never did any of that.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine like what would be going through my mind, like, oh my gosh, I got to make sure I hit this right. Like,
Yeah.
and
It's
it's a
just got
lot of hard work.
Yeah, getting in your head's the worst thing you can do with stunt work. Like with acting, it's obviously you need to get out of your head. But with stunt work, you just drill it so much in rehearsal to like stupid amounts. It's just there. It's muscle memory. And then when you get on stage, get out of your head. I think the minute you get in your
Yeah.
head, I think I've got to land that punch or I've got to be here for that move. When you're thinking too much, you'll mess it up. That's how I always think anyway. But I think if you learn it down to a T and drill it in rehearsal, then once you're in, on stage, you can then just say, fuck it, throw it out the window and
Yeah.
then have fun with it. That's when I think, because you can get in your head too much and that's when stuff goes wrong, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
From my experience
Right.
anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
So talking about your role as Tigger.
Yeah.
Okay, what was going through your mind when you're presented like with the material for Blood and Honey 2, specifically for the role of Tigger? Like you said, it was broken down, and it was just I'm just curious, like what was your thought process like?
It was honestly
Wow.
like I remember we were doing rehearsals for the Globe, and I actually remember coming. I think I came back for a bit. I think I was at home for a while during rehearsals, a bit of a break, and then it got sent by my agent, and it said the role of that Tigger being like the villain opposite Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing about the first one. This is the thing, I never actually watched the first one yet. I was at drama school when it came out, but I remember
Okay.
seeing the first one on like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X now, but it was Twitter I think back then. Like seeing all these articles about it and stuff, and just seeing how crazy it was. So I knew it was a big film, the first one. So I remember already I was like really drawn to it. And then when it said stuff like must be over 6 foot, so I was like tick. It said like I wanted like a muscular sort of lean sort of build. I was like okay. And then it said inspiration being like Art the Clown, Pennywise.
Art's my love.
And Pennywise is by far like my favorite horror icon. I love Pennywise. I also love Freddy Krueger, and Art the Clown is what I'm a big fan of. So all these characters that I love and love mixed into one. And it said like working with heavy prosthetics, and I'd never done that before. This is what's really interesting is like I always said I wanted to do that sort of character since watching it, the 2017 version.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it in cinemas when I was 17 at the time. And I remember from that day, I was like, I need to do a character like that. That's like this evil horror icon that's covered in prosthetics and like, do you know what I mean? And having so much freedom in a character. So when that got sent to me, I was like, you feel like you've almost manifested it. You're like, this is crazy. It's landed on my lap. So yeah, that was my thought process, was just, and I remember my agent sent me forward for it. And I remember I was like, I need this role. So I followed everyone involved in the first film. And then the director at Reese actually got in touch with me on Instagram, and he said he likes my look and stuff. And then he was sending me what he wants in the self-tape. And then once he kind of explained the character more, I was like, this is the dream. Like, this has got to be mine. That's how I felt.
I love that. That's amazing. Like, it cracks me up because when the whole first like Winnie the Pooh film was announced, a lot of people were upset. They're like, "Oh no, not my childhood! Like you're ruining my childhood." I'm over here like, give it to me. This is this is what I want.
Good.
And especially with the first film, like I'm a fan. Like I love me some obnoxious 80s like horror films, like 80s slashers. They're just so much fun. And I always explain to people like, if you're a fan of slashers, specifically in the 80s, you will love the first one.
Yeah.
And like with the second one, I'm like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I got emotional, but but we're here. Like part two is, I mean, both films are great, but part two was just amazing. So you talked about the prosthetics. I can only imagine the time it took to apply all of that. So what was that whole process?
It actually wasn't too bad. It was only 2 hours to put it on, and it got down to an hour and a half. So the team, the prosthetic studio, the couple that do it, they're just amazing what they do. But when I got the role, they basically said, you got to get in Barnsley. You're going to need to get you up to Barnsley, which is a place in England, within like the next couple of days. So I went up to their warehouse and I had to get the whole sort of mold done around my head. So I had to sort of get my head mold. And that was a really interesting process. And then it took about a month for them to make it. And then I was on set like a month later. And obviously initially saw the character, I went crazy because I loved the look. And then, I think it started off at about 2 hours to apply it. And then by my last day, it was down to about 90 minutes. So it wasn't too bad. It was like a sort of, you could put this hood over you and it sort of covers your shoulders down to like your chest, and then your face is like that. There's like a funny picture on my Instagram of my face like out, like before they put the other stuff on. Then there's like a forehead piece, then there's a chin piece, and then finally like the eye piece comes on. But people obviously moan about being in the makeup chair for too long, and some people hate it. But I always say this: I loved my time in the makeup chair because it's such like an evil character. Like I did a lot of research for the character. I spent about a month researching it and getting into that sort of mindset. But when I got on set, like I'm quite a chatty person. Like I'm quite high energy. I love chatting and blah, blah, blah. So when I got there and you say hi to everyone, you're in a really good mood. But then you think, hang on a minute, like I need to play a demonic character. Like I need to get in that mind zone, of like someone's going to be hacking through people. So when you're sat in a makeup chair for 2 hours, I was using that time to like sort of just sit there with my thoughts, maybe like play some music if I need it, or like I had like AirPods in at times, or like sipping Monster Energy to get my energy up and stuff like that. But even maybe just sitting there, sort of almost meditating in this character's sort of thought process. So then once the 2 hours is up and it's all on me, I'm sort of ready mentally as well. So I loved it. I think it was nice to have that little bit of time in the chair just to prep mentally.
Yeah, I like that you said that, because you were probably sitting there like, wow, like I dreamed of this. Like I wanted to play a character like this, and it's actually happening. So I mean, I will be excited too. I'll be like, hey, how y'all doing? How you doing? Like, come on, let's do it. Like,
I was so honestly, I met Reese and Scott especially because I was chatting to Reese and Scott, like the director and producer, and obviously Scott plays Christopher Robin as well. But I was chatting to him a lot online before like we got on set. So like we were getting on really well. So I was so excited to finally meet them in person, and then the rest of the cast and crew as well. It was just seeing everyone on. It was my first ever film run as well. It was my first ever time on like a big set. So I was obviously really excited to be there as well. So for that reason. But yeah, and even seeing like the character, like they had it on there's like mannequin thing in my head, and they had the like Tigger's sort of headpiece around it. And I remember seeing it for the first time. We was going crazy because my first time seeing it. And then, like you said, I was just so excited. Just sat in the makeup chair, sort of asking all these questions about it and stuff like that. I loved it.
That makes me so happy for you. Like, I'm over here just like, tell me more. You said you did a lot of research. So what kind of research did you do to get into the mindset of Tigger? Because we all grew up like watching, like when we watch the cartoons, we're like, oh, Tigger, he just bouncing around and he's so happy. He's Tigger. But I mean, in Blood and Honey 2, he's over here saying "bitch," like he is off the chain. So what kind of research did you do to get into evil Tigger?
Yeah, so obviously I wanted to. So the minute I got cast, I was like, right, obviously very excited. Then I was like, right, now I need to work and sort of make something here. First of all, I wanted to make that balance of, like you said, having the cartoon Tigger with like this new horror version, and like I didn't want to go too far from the cartoon because you are playing a character that's originating from this cartoon, from this book. So I need to keep that in there, but whilst applying the sadistic side of him as well. So I looked at I basically asked them, what do you want, first of all? And they said, we want him to feel like he's on 20 Red Bulls at once. Like he's never a bad day. Like you would never catch him like just chilling. Like he's just good to go, full of adrenaline, shaking and ready to kill like 24/7. I was like, brilliant. So I can do that. So I looked at the character and I thought, right, he's definitely be bouncy, and I thought, what sort of elements can I have there? But then when it came to the horror side of him, I just decided to watch like an ungodly amount of horror films. Like I watched about, not even lying, I had about a month to prep for it, and I had like time off to do it. And I think I must have watched maybe 2 to 3 horror films a day or a night even. So many horror films.
Yeah, that's like
first Winnie the Pooh, the Blood and Honey first one, I watched that a few times. Terrifier 1 and 2, I watched again and again. I watched all the Nightmare on Elm Streets, even Halloween, and even then, just to get any sort of ideas.
Yeah.
And I had like a notebook full of notes. Like I took it really seriously, trying to because I just wanted to make something different. Like I know they wanted Freddy Krueger for inspiration, so I wanted to keep that in there. But at the same time, I wanted to bring my own thing to the table as well and say, what could I bring? So that was me just sort of doing loads of research, trying to think like, what my biggest thing was, what do I find scary? Like as an actor, what do I see? And my biggest thing was like unpredictable movement. So I was like, right, I want it to be quick. I want it to be slow and chill. And like you said, saying bitch. And then the next minute he's into freaky movement and he's like going crazy. Then he's slowed down again. Like he's up and down. He's unpredictable. That's what I wanted. So it came down to just watching so many horror films. And then I was practicing the movement. I remember like I've got videos on my phone somewhere. Like I set up a camera in my living room, and in my kitchen, and I was like walking on all fours and being like, so I know there's a bit he's on all fours, so I'm thinking, what's the scariest way to do that? How would he, if someone had so much energy in them, how would they contain it? So I was like working out twitches and snarls and like, do you know, sort of like, how would you, if you had so much adrenaline in you, what would happen to your body? I was trying to work out that. So loads of different things that I was like sort of taking into account. But I had about a month to do it, so I was very grateful for that time to sort of prep. So when I came on set, I was like ready to go.
And like I said earlier, like you did the damn thing. Like I was in the theater. I was just like, oh my gosh. And I knew shit was about to go down because in the film, like majority of the film, Tigger is like locked up. And you'll just see scenes of him like banging on the door. I'm like, oh, he about to tear some shit up. Like it's about to go down.
Yeah.
Like we're in for a treat. And we were giving all types of treats. So I have to ask, because this is actually like, I won't say it's so dumb, but it's so silly. One of my favorite lines in this movie, in Blood and Honey 2, are just saying, bitch. Was that your idea, or was that like in the script? Like, did you ad-lib it, like improv it? Or
that was, truth be told, I didn't have many lines to start off with. So when I first got given the script, I had about 6 lines. It wasn't a lot of lines. And I don't think I ever said bitch in any of those lines. And then I think the trailer came out and it was me going, hello, Christopher. Do you know, I lift him up.
Yeah.
And I think people went crazy about the voice. And then I remember chatting to the director, and it was ages until the film was coming out. And we said about trying out some ADR and stuff like that. So we added some more lines to Tigger. And that's when we added like the bitch lines and stuff like that. And I think it was all Reese's idea to add in sort of these lines that were like similar to like Freddy Krueger. And there was one line in there that was similar to Pennywise as well. It never made it to the final cut. It was something that Pennywise sort of says. So there's lots of different lines that pay homage to like these old classic slasher characters. And like even like Dan Allen, who directs Bambi, I know he had a lot of input in Tigger's in his dialogue as well. So it was all, I can't really take credit for the bitch line.
Yeah.
That was all their idea. They're a load of geniuses.
Like shout out to everyone involved in adding bitch. Like
yeah. I mean, Reese is a genius. Like that was all his idea, to keep in like this sort of Freddy Krueger-esque sort of personality to the character, and it worked. Like people loved seeing, having like that sort of Freddy feel to the character. So yeah, but obviously when I got the script and when I saw some lines were added to the character, obviously I was like over the moon. Like I loved it. I was laughing out loud because there were so many other ones that we were going to try out as well. But then we finally decided these are the best ones to use. But all of them were just so good.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to like the future movies and seeing what else he has to say, because he's just a cheeky character. Like, he's sadistic. He's even more sadistic because he's like having little jokes with it as well and stuff like that. Like Freddy. I love it. Yeah, I love it.
Let me stop. So speaking of like the future of Tigger, I want to talk about like the Poohniverse. Like it was announced like there's going to be all these films. We're going to get the Monsters Assemble. Like there's you have Bambi coming out. You have the Pinocchio coming out. So do you have any involvement with the upcoming films?
So I do have involvement in Pinocchio. I can't say too much about Pinocchio because it's very early days. I've just recently wrapped on that one. But I am one of the puppeteers for the doll, which I was very grateful to get the opportunity. Yeah, Scott got in touch with me. And because, like, the thing is, though, doing Tigger is like I found a new love in the industry. Like, I never really did character acting before. And then when I did Tigger, I thought, oh my God, I love this. Obviously, it's very different from like normal acting. And obviously, the class is character acting with like that sort of, something very different from human sort of characters. And I found a new love for it. And I really wanted to sort of pursue that more. And I think Scott knew that. And he got in touch with me and said, do you want to be a puppeteer on Pinocchio and Strung, which is like another form of character work? And I was just like, yes, immediately, yes. So that was me and Martin, who plays Peter Pan. He was another.
That was a good one.
Martin was doing all the facial movements. He had the remote control for it. So he was doing all that. He was incredible at that. And I was doing more sort of like the head movements and the body movements and the arms. Like, it's so hard. Like, doing puppeteering is like a new skill that I was like struggling with at the start, but then I really found like a flow with it and I loved it in the end. but like articulating the fingers, little simple things. So I was so grateful to have that opportunity to be a puppeteer. We ended up having about 6 puppeteers in the end, because like even as a small doll, it takes a lot of you got sometimes, depending on the location of like where we're shooting, like you'll need like one person on one arm, one person on the other one, just to hide them behind the character, or you have to get it done in green screen if not after, stuff like that. It's all practical anyway with the doll. But yeah, that was incredible being involved in that film. So I'm super excited that one to come out and seeing like what we did come to life with that, with the character.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Like just like anything Poohniverse related, I'm super excited. Especially with Pinocchio, like seeing the first like images, like just the ideas they drawn up. I'm like,
yeah, Pinocchio's insane. I've seen a little bit, so I can't say anything, but it's like people need to be excited for that film. Like it's insane. Like it's so good what they've done. So yeah, I think one's gonna be special. I think Pinocchio, because it feels different, because it is his practical doll, and obviously it's made by Todd Masters and his team, who did obviously Child's Play and stuff like that. So yeah, that's gonna be incredible, that film.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's probably gonna mess me up, because I've said this before on my show, I think, but I don't. I mean, one of my favorite like subgenre in horror is like doll horror, because
really?
they actually creep me out. Like, one of my favorites is like Puppet Master. I love Puppet Master. Child's Play was like my first horror film that I could watch all the way through, like as a kid. So seeing that we're going to get another like a Pinocchio horror film, I'm just like, sign me up, because I don't fuck with dolls. I don't fuck with, like, they're one of my fears, but I like watching them.
That's why you watch it, yeah. You're going to be in for a treat with Pinocchio then, honestly.
Sign me up. Okay. So we have like the Monsters Assemble, the Versus. We have like Freddy versus Jason kind of movie. If Tigger was to get like a Versus movie, what would you like him to go against? Tigger versus, and it could be anybody. It doesn't have to be like in the Poohniverse, like just anyone.
Like, in the whole in movie.
Your heart's desire, like anyone horror related, like.
Wow. Do you know who would be really interesting? Wolverine. I think Wolverine would be, because they're very similar. Like, are you saying with anyone in any movie?
Yeah, Tigger
Wolverine
versus.
I'd say because they're very similar in terms of they've got that sort of 2-leg to 4-legged movement. They've got the claws. He's got the claws. I've got the claws. We both regenerate. And also we both have, cheeky sort of cheeky lines and stuff, and we give attitude, whilst killing people. Wolverine's very
I can see that.
So I think I've thought that just now. I'm very excited to answer. But I think
you're like, let me write up the script.
I think if that could ever happen, I know that's very hard to make that to happen. If that could happen, I think that would be incredible. I think horror wise, I don't know what horror character would be cool. That's a good one for that.
Tigger, I don't know. Versus.
I think Wolverine for any movie ever, because they're very similar in terms of their powers. But like maybe, I don't know, something maybe slow, like a Jason or something would be cool. Just because, like, or Michael Myers, or Jason regenerates it, doesn't he? He never dies really, so that'd be kind of cool. Having like another character who can regenerate, and because Jason's so slow, it'd be cool seeing Tigger's speed against someone who's slow. Seeing the two different, completely opposite to obviously what I said about Wolverine, because they're very similar. It'd be cool to see him go against someone who's very different from him, I feel like. So maybe Jason in the horror world. Slicing up Jason and stuff. That'd be cool. Yeah, so I'd say Wolverine for any movie ever, and if a horror world, something like Jason would be really cool.
Okay. Yeah. I see your vision. I see it.
Yeah. Wolverine, I want that to happen now. I'm going to put that out there.
Manifest it. Yeah. All right. So, as I mentioned earlier, you started doing like convention circuits. So how has your experience been with attending, like being a part of conventions?
It's been great. Honestly, it's been a dream, because it's like, I mean, I'm very new to this world. Like, I mean, I got cast as Tigger, and it was my first ever like movie role. And then we filmed it in like September 2023, was that? Yeah. And then it came out in March 2024. And then from that day on, it was like meeting fans and stuff. Like, we went to Los Angeles to promote it. And that was crazy, because that was like fans queuing up to get autographs. Yeah. And to me, it's like, even now, I'm still pinching myself about it. Like, it's a whole new world for me. It's been like a drama student going into this world from this character. And then obviously went to Germany in May. That was great going to Germany. And then obviously went to Canada as well, which was cool. And there was another one near me. So I've done a few conventions now. But even now, like, I'm still in disbelief about it, because it's like,
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of like horror people. Like I went to Germany and Lisa Sutherland was like next to me from Evil Dead Rise, and like
Oh wow.
oh, I've got a name, but Pepper from American Horror Story, and all these
Okay.
people
Yeah.
I watched growing up, and I was like, I know, like, I'm meeting fans of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey and stuff, but it's like, even I'm fanboy, like I'm going crazy, you know what I mean? And then I went
Yeah.
to Canada, and I met like a load of the Jasons, and I met like people from Saw, and like Eli Roth and stuff, like people that I'm a big fan of. I'm a big fan of their work as an actor, and I've looked up to him, like they've been inspirations to me. So being on that side of the table with them is a massive deal, and it's like, and just meeting fans, I think as an actor, getting sort of that recognition for your work and people enjoying what you're putting out there is just such a special feeling. So yeah, I love going to conventions. I think it's great. I just love to meet the fans and seeing their excitement for like Poohniverse, like the amount of questions I'm getting asked for like Poohniverse and future films, and do you know, all this kind of thing. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, conventions are the best.
Yeah.
There's one, I go a couple every year, and I just always look forward to. It's like, okay, even if I don't meet all the celebrities that I want to meet, like I'm surrounded by people that are just like me. Like I feel seen, and I absolutely love it. Like I just love the whole environment, and just even like making new friends. Like I feel like every year, whenever I go to a convention, I meet a whole group of new friends. It's such a great time to experience. So, listeners, viewers, when you have the chance, like if there's a convention near you, like please check them out.
Yeah. Even like, let me know if there's any conventions near the ones that you do go to. Send them over, and I can obviously send it to my agent, and they can try and get me booked onto that one, and that'd be cool. To then obviously meet you there, that'd be cool. But yeah, I just love, like you said, feeling seen. I feel like that's a big thing in the horror world. It's like, it's obviously one of those genres that like some people hate it, some people love it. With horror, it's nice to have, like you said, that room or a big convention center full of people that love the same stuff you love, and you can sort of connect over that. It's great.
Yeah, every time I'm like, oh, it's a new year, like, oh, I got Horror Hound to attend. Like, I can't wait. I'm just so excited. But I'll definitely take you up on that word and like let you know of all the conventions and be like, hey, this one. But
like my agent will maybe send me one and be like, "Oh, I'll put you forward for this one." I'm like, "Oh, cool." I don't know what these ones like. I don't know too much about which ones are good or not good.
Yeah.
Which ones are like these people. So it's always good to hear from fans of horror what ones are worth sort of looking into and stuff like that, and trying to go to. That'd be cool.
I mean, if you ever do attend Horror Hound, I could hook you up with some grippos. How do you feel about like spice? Like
spice,
a little kick, like
I'm really
potato chips.
Spice. I can try it. Nando's, like I have like the plane at Nando's.
Yeah.
I get the plane. Like I'm really bad with spice. I can try it.
I mean, there's a whole like it's a brand of chips. Like there's different types of flavors, and I'm like the queen of grippos. Like I pick out the perfect bag. So like I'll hook you up with bags of grippos. But
send over the conventions, and I'll forward it to my agent. He does it in the States, and I'll try and get booked in, and we'll have these.
All right, so I don't want to keep you up any longer. I only have like 2 questions left, maybe.
Okay, cool.
So I have to ask, what is your dream role? Like the one role that you're just like, this is like I want this. Like besides Tigger, like the one role you're just like,
my dream role is, I know it's somewhat of a generic answer, but this has genuinely been like my dream role since I was like 8 years old or like 11 when I first started acting. That's the Joker. I would love to play the Joker, like in any depiction. Like I'd love to play him, whether it's anything, like a movie, TV show, video game, cartoon, anything, video game, whatever, but anything like that. I just think that the character of the Joker has been done differently by like so many people. And I'd love to have my own crack at a character like that, like a character that's been done and it's like such a popular character, but having my own spin. Like, what would I bring to the table if I was casted in? That's my dream role as the Joker, because I feel like there's so much. Same with Tigger. That's why I love Tigger. Like, it was such a dream role because it felt like there was so much room to play with that character. like, because he's so crazy. I feel like I can have so much fun and try out so many things. Like, that's very rare that you get that for, like, as an actor. That you get a character, you think, I'm just going crazy. I'm having the best time of my life, and it's working. Like, you know what I mean? The director likes it, and it's just, and I'm just going crazy. I feel like with the Joker, you could have that same sort of thing. You could really try out some stuff, really sort of push the limits, you know. So that'd be my dream role. Yeah, definitely.
See, I love that, and I can actually see that happening. Like, I can picture you in a Joker role.
Yeah,
because like you said, like, it's like Joker's been done multiple times, but there's always been like a different like portrayal of him. So I can see you doing that, and I hope that happens for you.
Thank you, appreciate that. Yeah, just to have a crack here. I think I've got some ideas like how I'd make it different in my own way. So I'd love to have the opportunity in any way, whether it's, like I said, video game, film, whatever, just to sort of show this is how I would do it. You know, that'd be cool.
Yeah. That's so cool. So, okay, my last question to you.
Okay.
What would be some words of wisdom or advice for anyone who's wanting to go after their dream? They want to act. They just want to be in the entertainment business. What would you say to them?
I would say, so my biggest thing for me when I left drama school was like, I got very lucky with having some great jobs sort of come my way straight away. And then the minute I got like into those jobs and stuff, I think the minute you build momentum is like, keep that momentum. I feel like a lot of people sort of take their foot off the pedal a little bit sometimes. And I feel like momentum is such a big thing. And once stuff starts happening, even if it's not happening, like build that momentum. Even if you're not getting the jobs, just keep going to the auditions or keep emailing those people, or keep making your own stuff and putting it online, and just keep doing it, going at it, because that momentum will just, if the minute you lose that, I feel like you lose the sort of the drive. And I feel like, and then once you do get the jobs, I feel like the biggest thing is honestly having fun with it, because I feel like it can be so hard to get a job sometimes as an actor, or a job that you love anyway, one that you're like really excited about. And I feel like once you do get that job, just have fun with it. So many actors I know, like I myself included, I've been there, but like, you beat yourself up about things, and like you want it to be so perfect, and you're so hard on yourself about like hitting that mark or that line perfectly, and it takes away the fun. Like, the reason we do it is because it's fun, and you've got to be willing. This is my biggest thing. I always say this is saying fuck it. You've got to have that. You put your fuck it hat on, and it's honestly, I know it sounds really a bit controversial and a bit sort of like reverse. Do you know what I mean? But it's like honestly, it serves you so well. It served me really well. Is like I would get a role and I'd learn the lines and I'd absolutely know them like the back of my hand. And then, but when I got on set, so I'm sort of more easy on myself. I learned to say fuck it, have fun, and trust yourself. You've got it. You know the character. You know the lines. You know what you're doing. Be willing to say fuck it, throw it out the window, and then have fun with it. But obviously, keep moving forward. Just keep moving forward. Keep saying fuck it, and you'll be fine.
Yes. See, I love that. Y'all hear that? Fuck it.
Fuck it. That's like, it. Live the fucking life. It served me well, so.
Oh, see, I love that. Like I said, I don't want to keep you up much longer, but I just want to say thank you so much for being a guest on the show. I think you're amazing. I'm going to keep giving your flowers. Like, I feel like it doesn't matter if you're still, I don't like always like on the show. I don't care if you're just starting, like if you've been in the game for a while, like if you're out here doing the damn thing, if you're putting your heart and soul into your craft, you deserve your flowers. So I want to say thank you. I'm giving flowers to you. Yeah. I can't wait to see what's in store for you. But yes, I think you're doing the damn thing, and I can't wait to see what's in store for you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, because that is the thing. Like, even though I just gave some words of wisdom, like I'm also learning. Don't get me wrong. I'm not in a place where I know exactly what's what. Like, I'm very much learning. I'm very new to the industry. I'm very grateful for what I've had. But like you said, like we love doing what we do, and you got to, like you said, pour your heart and soul into it, and that's it. It's all you can do, really.
Alrighty. Yeah. So Lewis, where can my listeners, viewers find you if they want to keep up
with projects? Instagram. So I'm not massive on other social media. So my biggest thing is Instagram. So it's at lewissanter.actor. That's my biggest thing for like keeping up to date with whatever I'm doing. I'm also on TikTok, but I don't really use it much. And X, I don't really use as much. But you can still follow me there if you want to. But Instagram is by far the best social media platform if you want to get in touch with me, or just keep up to date with what I'm doing and whatever projects I've got coming up next. So yeah, I'll say Instagram is at lewissanter.actor.
All right, and I'll make sure I'll include that in the show notes.
Okay.
Listeners, you can find me on here, and you can also find me on Kill the Dead podcast. If you want to follow me on the socials, AshXAshes, that's Ash with the X in the middle, Ashes. And, it's still new. I'm still feeling this, but I have a monthly column with Dread Central, so y'all keep an eye out on that. All righty, this was Rise from the Dead podcast. Bye.
Yeah. Cheers.